Hi, so here's my third video about Intersectionality Is Not a Label by Peterson. I'm not sure if I can do 5 whole minutes on this one since it was very short, but I'll do my best. So I know you've read this before, so you already understand Peterson's thoughts and opinion on it. Basically, she's saying intersectional feminism or intersexual feminist, it's not a useful phrase because it doesn't allow for newcomers to easily access feminism. It's kind of an insider's shorthand jargon for what is a very complicated movement. Um, and it's gone from being something very important, making feminism more complicated, to just being reduced to um, basically a soundbite, like a blurb. It's just, I'm an intersectional feminist, is the thing you have to say to prove that you're the proper SJW or whatever. So I don't necessarily agree with this paper, and the reason is because until there's a word for something, it's not really going to be accessible to outsiders. So it was a while ago, probably several years ago, I I had just come into contact with feminism for the first time, or with the ideals of feminism. Um, and I didn't really know very much about it. I was just like, yeah, that stuff does happen to women. That's dumb. I hate it. So I encountered an article about intersectional feminism, and it didn't really call it intersectional feminism. It just talked about how, as a young black girl, the author hadn't felt included in feminism because basically it was for and about middle class white women. And these middle class white women were so horribly oppressed, they didn't have space in their ideas for the ways in which the author was oppressed. So, she couldn't wear her hair the way it naturally grew out of her head. There were just a lot of different things there were a lot of different things that she didn't feel included in feminism by. So, I had never heard of it before. I didn't know intersectional feminism from a hole in the ground. I just made a comment saying, this is really important that you wrote this, thank you. And somebody got really offended that I had said that because I'm a white woman. And I had to kind of slow down and explain, this is important to me because I've never heard of this before in my life. Um, this is not something I ever considered. So this article was important to me. It can teach me how to be a better person, how to be just basically how to love others better. So, you know, it was a comment section. We eventually worked it out. But I think that a good way to start explaining something is to have a word for it. Like, say, for example, there's a sunflower in your backyard, and the only words you have are it's tall and part of it's yellow and part of it's brown. Um, that's not very clear. It's descriptive, but it's not any more useful to a person who has never seen a sunflower than the word sunflower. At least if they have the word sunflower, they can plug it into Google and they can find a picture of a sunflower. So I I think jargon can be useful under certain circumstances that are not just from one feminist to another, in conversation between one feminist to another, or in papers that will be primarily read by women's studies majors. I think that having words for things is the very beginning of the ability to become conscious of them, um, and to find them useful. So if someone had come across this Washington Post article um, and they had never heard of intersectional feminism, they could at least go and put it in their browser window and figure out what it meant and say, they may not want to read 60 pages, worth of a dense scholarly article to figure this out. They might just want to read Washington Post for a couple of minutes and then put in a Google search. So I think it does actually make it easier for people to educate themselves in the context of being outside of a professional classroom. Thank you.